Keep texts!
Miles, where did you go? I heard you disappeared halfway through while the doctor was explaining the symptoms of our son's illness to you. I'm not back at 100% myself yet, so I really need to know what's going on. Miles? What happened? Where are you?
Not what happened. Come on, Jade. I just found out my son has an incurable illness. Anyone would feel shaken about to hearing a bomb like that dropped on them.
Maybe so. But he's still your son, you know. Surely we have a duty as his parents to understand the disease and the treatment he'll have to go through? I understand exactly how you feel. Believe me, I do. But even though he was born with this illness that he may never recover from, he's still doing his best to survive. He's still fighting. We have to fight too, Miles. We have to do it for him.
This is your fault.
What?
It's got nothing to do with me. You're the one who gave birth to a sickly kid, which means he's your responsibility.
Hold on a minute. What the hell? If you're being serious, what a horrible thing to say. Don't you think I was surprised myself when I found out he had a potentially incurable illness when he was born? That doesn't change the fact he's our son. I struggled and I suffered, and I did my best to bring him into this world. Why would you say something like that?
You're the one who gave birth to a sickly kid. You and no one else. What do you expect me to say? He's got nothing to do with me, and he ain't my problem. I intend to go about my life as usual.
Miles, hold on. What the hell are you saying? Please, can we speak in person? We can't discuss something this important over message. It's so impersonal. You haven't been to see me at the hospital even once.
Do you have any idea how long it takes me to drive to the hospital? 30 minutes! Sheesh. Would you just put a lid on it already, woman? You're real annoying. Surely you can figure out how to get by on your own somehow. You're a mom now. Can't rely on me for everything all the time. What does your signature look like? Can you send me a picture?
What? Why? Oh, right. Do you want it for the birth certificate?
Like hell I do. We're getting a divorce. I'll just forge it if you don't tell me.
Oh my god! I'm in a hospital bed after finding out our newborn son has an incurable illness and you're divorcing me? Where the hell did this Miles come from? I barely recognize you anymore. You changed yesterday as soon as you found out about our son's illness. This sickly kid. I'm divorcing you. Seriously? What has gotten into you?
I already told you. I don't want anything to do with that sickly brat.
Wow. Just wow, Miles. Are you serious? Tell me you're not, please.
You think I joke about something like this? I want the perfect family. A beautiful wife who always gets the housework done on time. A healthy child. The kid you just gave birth to doesn't even come close to my ideal vision. He's subpar and defective at best, which is 100% your responsibility.
Wait, what? Are you saying you married me because I'm good at housework?
Bingo! You enjoy housework. You enjoy cooking. And to top it off, you're not bad looking either. What's more, you're completely subservient to me. I really like all that stuff about you, babe. I also like the fact you're timid and have low self-esteem. The fact you struggle to assert yourself means you're really easy to deal with.
I see. So you've never loved me.
Loved you? I never knew you were such a romantic, babe. What is this, a chick flick? What does that matter anyway? I always fulfill my duties as a husband, didn't I? Have you ever struggled for money? Even once? Has there ever not been food on the table? Huh? I'm an elite husband of the kind most women would kill for. Not just that, but my mom and dad are stinking rich. I'm one of life's winners, the chosen few, the cream of the crop. I think you get it. Anyway, if anything, you should be grateful you got to marry me. Even if only temporarily. Aren't you happy you got to find out what it was like to live with such a fine specimen of a man? Don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happens, sweet cheeks.
I thought you loved me this whole time. I really did. But now I understand. You're despicable, and I have nothing else to say to you.
Why would you believe something like that? You're so presumptuous, babe. Despicable? Roar, get him, tiger. But hey, on the bright side, if I'm that despicable, you'll be eager to get this divorce over with as quickly as possible, right? I'm pleased we see eye to eye on this. Good girl. And don't worry, babe. I accept I'm the one who initiated the divorce, so I don't mind if I have to pay compensation. Child support is basically a foregone conclusion for dads in this day and age. The system is rigged against us men, so naturally you'll be getting that too. That just about covers everything. We're done here.
Miles, where are you right now?
What do you want, Mom? I'm hella busy right now.
Sorry to disturb you, but there's something I need to ask you about your divorce with Jade.
Oh, it's about the divorce? Isn't she just the worst? I mean, seriously, the nerve. Can you believe she had the chutzpah to give birth to such a sickly kid and then expect me to have anything to do with it?
Yes, the worst. Truly, the most disgraceful thing I've ever seen in all my years on this earth. You, that is.
Huh? Me?
Are you a moron as well as a scumbag? Obviously, I mean you. Who else could be described in such terms in this situation? You run away from the hospital with your tail between your legs the moment you find out your newborn son has an incurable disease. Who other than you could be the scumbag here?
Quit messing around, Mom. That stings, even for a joke. You seriously expect me to raise a kid like that?
He's your son, so obviously I do. Although looking at your behavior, maybe it's for the best he grows up not knowing you exist. Because we sure as hell don't need two wastes of space like you on this planet. I feel so awful for Jade. She's a lovely girl who deserves so much better than this.
Don't give her your sympathy, Mom. What the hell? How am I the bad guy here? What need would I have for a sickly kid like that? He'd be nothing but a burden. Not just sickly, but incurably sickly. That means his whole life. Anyone would hesitate to put their time and money into raising such a defective excuse for a human.
In that case, maybe I should toss you in the trash where you belong then. You suffered from the same disease as little Billy when you were a baby after all. Did you know that? Oh yeah, Billy is your son's name.
Huh?
Isn't it lovely? Me and Jade decided on it.
No, not that. What do you mean I had the same disease?
That's right. The doctor told me there was a chance you might never recover. In spite of that, I still raised you. Then when you were 4 months old, it disappeared on its own and you made a full recovery. You have no idea how glad I was.
What the? So it's not an incurable disease after all. You should really go and tell Jade and the doctor. I don't think they got the memo.
I know you're a complete moron, but are you short of seeing too? How many times do I have to tell you the doctors don't know whether it'll get better? In some cases it does, in some it doesn't.
You've put me in a real difficult spot here, Mom. How can I make an informed decision on the divorce without having access to all the information? You should have told me this way before now.
Excuse me? It seems to me like you've already made your mind up on the divorce.
Nah, I'm flexible on this. If he recovers from his illness, then I won't divorce her. In that case, she can still make the grade and still gets to be my wife.
Even if you want to stay with her, she's done with you now after how you've acted. Surely you realize that.
I told you! I only acted like that because I thought the brat was gonna be sickly and infirm forever. If that's not the case, I'm happy to apologize.
That won't be necessary.
It won't?
Oh yeah, that reminds me. It's about the compensation. It turns out the amount you'll be paying is actually higher than we initially expected. I take it you understand why.
Huh? How can I understand if you don't tell me? Stop messing me around, Mom!
That's right. When you made your escape from the hospital, you went straight to your lover's house to live with her, didn't you? I'm sat enjoying a coffee at her house right now. So make sure you hurry and come see me soon. I'll say that one more time. Get your backside over here right now.
Mom?
Oh yeah, and make sure you grab the divorce papers while you're at it. Pronto.
Mom, please, just wait a sec. I need to confirm something real quick here. You're on my side here, aren't you?
Cut the crap, Miles. I'm sick of your attitude. I'm in the apartment block run by Peeps Properties on 7th Avenue, room 201. That's where you've been living since making your cowardly escape, isn't it? I couldn't find you at the old house, so I figured this was the only place you could be. You can't keep running, Miles. Oh, and by the way, I explained everything to your lover. Turns out she didn't have a clue you were married with a child on the way. It looks like you've gotten yourself into quite the mess, huh? Anyway, chop chop, son. You better not keep me waiting.
You've been tracking me down? Mom, look, I'm sorry, okay? I'll apologize. I'll pay compensation. I'll do anything. Just don't tell Jade or Dad about this, please?
That ship has already sailed. Jade's known about what you've been doing behind her back for ages now.
She knew? Like hell she did! How? Look, I'm only telling you this because you're my mom. But I went to every length to ensure my secret never got out. I moved with double agent level stealth. My cover was flawless.
Jade loved you from the bottom of your heart. When you love someone that much, you notice even the tiniest change in their behavior. When she announced that she was pregnant, she said you seemed a lot less pleased than she expected you to be. Disappointed even. Obviously, she couldn't go confronting you based on that alone. But she said that after the announcement, you became more and more distant by the day, eventually getting so bad you barely ever communicated. On top of that, she said you were acting all kinds of strange. I don't think I need to say anything else. I know you know what I mean. She broke down in tears and told me everything when she couldn't take keeping it all bottled up any longer. After that, I decided to hire a private investigator.
So you did hire a private investigator, huh? I had my suspicions. I hate backstabbing women like you who sneak around in the shadows like cowardly rats. Have you thought about my feelings even once?
Sneaking around like cowardly rats? You've got some nerve. Who's the one who's been sneaking around his wife's back having an affair? Do you have any idea what you've done to that poor girl? You were having an affair. Not only that, but you abandoned your kid the moment you realized he's ill? You are not fit to be a parent. You couldn't atone for what you've done even if you had 10 lifetimes. Do you have any idea how much pain and suffering you've caused your wife? How fragile her mental state is now because of you? And yet, here you are acting like you've done nothing wrong, like butter wouldn't melt, accusing us of being at fault.
Come on, Mom, I get it! I'll apologize for the affair. Can we just put this to bed already? Can you please tell Jade to hold off on the divorce for the time being?
What? You expect her to hold off on the divorce? You cannot be serious. My head hurts.
The kid's gonna get better, right? You said it yourself. If he doesn't get better, we go through with the divorce. If he does get better, we don't. It's pretty simple. How does that sound? Let's face it, she's gonna be over the moon when she hears she's still in with a chance with me.
Wow, you are just... What do I even say to this level of... I just can't. Your divorce is already set in stone, And you're a delusional moron in genuine need of psychiatric help if you think otherwise. Me and Jade will be looking after little Billy from now on.
Wait, what? Why would you be involved?
To be more precise, me and your father. You are aware Jade isn't in contact with her family and doesn't know any of her relatives, aren't you? That's why me and your dad intend to be there to support her through thick and thin.
Just tell me one thing, Mom. Why are you so committed to having Jade's back? I'm your son, not her!
Well, there is the fact that I feel a degree of responsibility for my scumbag son betraying and abandoning her. But even regardless of that, I've always thought she's a wonderful person. Plus, and I never told you about this, but she's my cooking teacher.
Your cooking teacher?
I've been brushing up on my cooking skills for at least a few years now. You always made sure to tell me how awful my cooking was ever since you were a little boy. I wanted to get better for when I had grandkids to look after one day. Memories of you blurting out things like, "I ain't eating this crap, do better!" and throwing your plate against the wall, or flushing the food I made you down the toilet stick out in my mind all too vividly. I can't tell you how much it always shocked me. Besides, you must at least know about Jade. She's been running a cooking class since before you were married. She's a certified teacher. I kept it a secret from everyone because I wanted you all to be surprised when you tasted the difference in my food. And Jade was kind enough to keep it on the down low. Back when you introduced me to her as your girlfriend, I was so pleased when I found out she loved to cook. I'd always imagined how amazing it would be if you had a wife who could cook. So yes, Jade is just fantastic. Unfortunately, you're a reprehensible dirtbag, which is why she has my full support over the divorce.
Whatever. That's enough. I'm done with this conversation. Plus, if you're gonna be supporting her, then she won't be needing compensation from me anymore, will she? I'm actually pleased.
That's completely unrelated. You'll be paying every penny of the compensation and child support you owe her. We'll lawyer up if you refuse. Oh yeah, one more thing. You probably think you're still getting inheritance from me and your dad, don't you? I hate to break this to you, my dear son, but every last penny of it, assets and all, are going into a fund for little Billy when he grows up.
What? Wait a second. No! Surely you can't do that. I'm your son. That means I have a legal right to my inheritance. Yeah, that's right. You can't do that. I will get what's mine.
Oh, yes, we can. There is such a process called disinheritance of an heir. If you don't know what that means, I suggest you look it up. What a shame. Your future's already been laid out for you. It's been that way ever since you made the decision to cheat on your wife.
Mom, please! I'm your son! We're family! Flesh and blood! How can you toss me by the wayside while being so blindly loyal to a stranger? Have you never loved me?
Of course I loved you. I've always loved you and done my best to provide for you no matter what. Even when you threw away your food in front of my eyes, even when you set fire to the scarf I knitted you, even when I caught you tipping other children upside down to steal their milk money, even when I caught you stealing money from my purse, I loved you because you were my son.
Mom, stop digging at the past! It's hardly fair to use ancient history against me like this. But you're right. It's just like you say. I'm your son!
Loved. Past tense. Even love has its limits, Miles. And mine and your father's love for you has well and truly been exhausted this time. We want nothing more to do with you.
Whoa, 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 slow down! Now you're really going too far. Wait!
I will not wait. Our minds are made up, and this is not negotiable. Really, you've got some gall to play the victim. Have you never loved me? Have you heard yourself? I saw all your chat history with Jade. What did you say to her when she asked you the very same question?
Oh man, I just can't catch a break today! Mom! Please forgive me! I'm gonna be there for my son! For little Barry, I swear!
His name is Billy. And no, you are most certainly not. Oh, and by the way, your father just arrived at your lover's house. We're both waiting for you. Now hurry the hell up.
What? Why is Dad there too? Wasn't he away on business?
He was, but now he's back. So let's all have a nice, pleasant chat together. To put it in a way you'll understand, it's time for me and your father to fulfill our final responsibilities to you by cutting our defective son out of our lives once and for all. It goes without saying that Miles didn't have the courage to show up at his lover's house where his mom and dad were waiting. Instead, once again running away with his tail between his legs, this time to his coworker's house, where he begged him to give him refuge. However, his coworker couldn't help but feel suspicious and was worried he might be getting wrapped up in some kind of trouble. When he pressed Miles for an explanation, he went to great lengths to rearrange the story in a way that was convenient for him, omitting anything that might show him in a negative light. But in spite of his best efforts, his coworker, who is known for being short-tempered, yelled, "Quit being such a pain in everyone's ass!" snatched his phone, and called Miles' dad. His dad drove down at once and dragged his son kicking and screaming out of his coworker's toilet, which he had attempted to lock himself inside. After that, Miles broke down in tears and begged my parents to convince me not to go through with the divorce, not to mention bombarding me with messages. Of course, I ignored him and continued with the proceedings. Thankfully, the divorce went through without a hitch, thanks to the help of my in-laws. They were super cooperative and kindly went to the trouble of finding a lawyer while I had my hands full with recovering in the hospital and the shock of finding out about my son's illness. It turned out I wasn't the only one Miles had been deceiving. He was forced to pay compensation not only to me, but also to his lover, who had no idea he was a married man. My son's illness was called congenital hyperinsulinism. Fortunately, it only ended up being temporary, and he made a full recovery after 3 weeks. Now we're living together at home, and he's full of energy and a joy to be around. Me and the in-laws are absolutely smitten with him, and they come over to see him every single day. I count my lucky stars that I was able to get his deadbeat dad out of our lives. What kind of monster could say they don't want anything to do with such a cute little boy? When I was at rock bottom after getting hit with the divorce, lost in a daze with no idea what to do, my stepmom hugged me tightly and said she loved me as if I was her own daughter. Miles could never understand just how reassuring it feels to hear such kind words in a time of need. That said, I don't intend on taking that kindness for granted. Which is why I plan on finding a job so I can bring in the money we need to raise Billy into a fine young man. I'm also praying he grows up to be thoughtful and kind. The last thing the world needs is another Miles.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.
Jesus, Jason. Stop spam calling me at work. What's wrong?
What the heck was today's lunchbox? You think it's acceptable to send me to work with that crap?
Your lunchbox? What about it?
Don't play dumb with me, bitch! I can tell the difference between fresh and frozen ingredients. Do not cut corners with my meals.
Wow, what the hell? Where do you get off speaking to me like that? Did you seriously call me 25 times while I was at work over your freaking lunchbox? I was in the middle of an important meeting.
What could possibly be more important than my lunchbox?
Is this a joke?
Why aren't you doing your job properly? Do you have any idea how badly your lunchbox embarrassed me? I couldn't be seen eating that frozen poor people's slop in front of my coworkers, but still, I had to eat. so I ate it in a toilet cubicle instead.
You didn't have to do that. No one cares about your lunchbox, Jason. Besides, even if they did care, how do you expect anyone to know the difference between frozen and fresh by looking at it across a dinner table?
No. I knew, so why wouldn't they? You want me to be known as the guy who eats peasant lunchboxes, do ya? Don't ever embarrass me like that again.
Who even cares about stuff like that? You know what? If my lunchboxes are so awful, you can start fixing your own lunches. I get up first thing every morning to make sure you have something to eat at work in spite of the fact I always have early meetings to go to. I don't have the time to make everything with fresh ingredients by hand all the time.
Are you really a woman?
Obviously I am. Why?
If you're really a woman, why can't you cook? No self-respecting woman would make a lunchbox like that.
You're deluded if you think being a woman alone equates to cooking ability. Everyone has their strengths and weaknesses regardless of gender.
Oh yeah? Well, my mom doesn't just make the most delicious food in the world. She also does the housework perfectly.
And so the dreaded mom comparisons begin. When are you going to stop comparing me with her? We're different people. Your mom's been a stay-at-home housewife for over 30 years. I work full-time at a very stressful job, so just stop this crap already. You may as well be comparing apples to oranges.
It's only natural for me to compare you. There wasn't a single speck of dust to be found at my mom's place back when I lived with her before we got married. There were no mountains of unwashed laundry of the kind that are a daily occurrence in the dump we call a home. She cooked me 3 meals a day with fresh ingredients by hand.
Great! So your mom's a stay-at-home housewife and I'm not. What's your point? Me and you work full-time. How can you possibly compare us? You have no idea how hard it is to run a household because you've never lived on your own.
What a joke! How hard can housework be? You'd never catch my mom complaining like this. She keeps the house in perfect condition and she does it with a smile on her face. You're just lazy and incompetent.
And you don't have a clue what you're talking about, man-child. If your mommy's cooking is so amazing, why don't you pack your things and scoot back off to her place where you can be waited on hand and foot 24/7?
Why you gotta turn on me like this, huh? You're so freaking antagonistic. God, you make me mad.
I make you mad? Give me a break. Not only do you disturb me with trivial crap while I'm at work, but you're constantly crying about trivial crap while I'm at home too.
Who the hell do you think you're speaking to, woman? You will show the man of this house his proper respect. You said you'd do your best to juggle the housework with work before we got married. Stop breaking your promise.
That was back when I had no idea how aggressively you were gonna force it on me. Would it really kill you to do some of it yourself? It couldn't be any more obvious your parents never made you lift a finger at home.
No, I just didn't have to because my mom did her job as a woman, unlike you. You could learn a thing or two from her. When the heck aren't you home, woman? Do you know what time it is? It's almost 10 p.m. You better not be doing overtime. Holy mother of God. Did you go out drinking with your girlfriends without my permission?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I did exactly like I told you I would before I went to work this morning.
I never gave you permission to do that. I made it very clear that you would not be going out for drinks with the girls. I don't give a heck how much you think you need to let your hair down.
I don't need your permission to go out with my friends, Jason.
Oh, yes, you do!
Christ! Calm down, you psycho. It's just a little get-together with my coworkers. I could hardly be the only no-show. And what exactly is the problem with me being there?
Because you're not here doing the housework. Do you have any idea how much laundry is piled up in the kitchen? Who the hell do you think you are, slacking off on your duties at home to go out and get wasted like this? You're a disgrace to the female race.
A disgrace to the female... You know what? Forget it. I don't have the energy to deal with you anymore. What's the harm in me going out for one night? I never get to go out. You always go out for drinks with your buddies. Why is it one rule for you and another for me? You go out at least twice a week, every week, no matter what. This is unfair, and you know it.
I can do what I want, I'm a man.
I don't understand your logic. Why do you get to go out with your friends and I don't? Just because I'm a woman?
Because a woman's place is in the kitchen, cooking my supper.
I didn't realize I was married to a caveman. Did you time travel from the Stone Age? I should start calling you Grug. You know what, Grug? You're gonna have to go out and hunt your own supper tonight.
Don't get clever with me, woman. Use your brain. One of us has to stay home and watch the house.
Sure, but that still doesn't. I should be able to go out sometimes. I work so hard at home. Would it hurt you so much to let me go out for one measly night out once in a blue moon? I'm a human being too, you know. It's not like I don't enjoy doing all the housework, but I'd go crazy if I was stuck at home all the time. I'm your wife, not your maid.
I'm so disappointed in you, Maria. You're clearly not serious about your role as my wife.
How so?
If you were, you wouldn't send me to work with cheap frozen crap in my lunchbox. And you wouldn't go out to get wasted with your girlfriends with mountains of laundry sat at home. You're not fit to call yourself a wife.
How many times do I have to tell you I'm not a stay-at-home housewife? I work full-time and bring a lot of money home every month. My contribution might not be in line with your antiquated view of how the world should be, but I contribute nonetheless. I'm juggling the housework with my job and you have no right to complain at me.
You bring home a lot of money? I've met homeless people who make more money than you.
Excuse me?
You could quit your job today and it wouldn't affect our finances. And Dad would even notice. You know, I always wanted you to stay home and look after me and the house full time. The only reason I allowed you to carry on working is because I'm kind. But if you're gonna neglect the house this much, I'm gonna have no choice but to make you quit your job and ban you from working.
Who do you think you are? Why do I need your permission to do anything?
I am the man of this house. My word is law.
You're pathetic, Jason. Give it a break already. There's no way I'm quitting my job. I worked so hard at this company to get where I am today. Why should I throw it all away?
Then start doing the damn housework properly. I tell you what, if you don't start making this house sparkle soon, we're getting a divorce.
Well, now I've heard it all. Why would you even say something like that?
My patience has reached its limit.
That's my line.
You'd never be able to cope without me. If we get a divorce, your life is as good as over. How are you gonna get by without my salary popping you up? You'd be a crumpled, tear-stained mess on the floor the moment you heard my words.
Where does this inexplicable confidence of yours come from? It'd be impressive if it wasn't so tragic.
You can say what you like. I know you're head over heels in love with me. You're the one who asked me out, remember? You'd be in floods of tears if I dumped you.
But what if I wasn't? What if I was actually pleased?
No chance. You're the one who's always all over me like a bad rash whenever we're together. It's obvious you're madly in love with me. And why wouldn't you be? I'm good-looking, intelligent, witty, confident, charismatic, tall, have a good job, well-endowed, and most importantly, humble.
Have you heard of the word narcissist before?
Stop trying to sound clever with big fancy words, babe. It doesn't suit you.
I guess it makes no difference to me whether your head's stuck up your own ass. Divorce is fine by me.
Hey, watch your mouth! Suggest you choose your next words very carefully. You should know I won't take you back no matter how desperately you cling.
Don't worry, there's no danger of that. Desperately clinging to the likes of you is the last thing on my mind.
Sup, it's been a while. Living a life of tragic despair after the divorce, are we? Should I be a gentleman and send you some sympathy money?
What do you want? I don't need your money.
Geez, Maria, I only offer because I was worried about you. Anyone would think you'd be more grateful. Go on, admit you're hopelessly broke, depressed, and struggling to find a reason to live without me. Let's face it, it's basically over for you after getting dumped at your ripe old age.
Why would I be depressed?
You don't have to put on a bold front with me, Maria. It's obvious you're hurting inside. Listen, babe, I'm such a nice guy. I'm willing to remarry if you apologize. But only if you promise to fulfill your womanly duties and never disobey me this time.
Thanks for the offer, but I'm fine as I am. I'm about 1,000,000 times happier than I was when we were together. This luxury high-rise apartment is great.
Huh? Luxury high-rise apartment? What?
Yep, I moved into those new luxury high-rise apartments on 5th Street. The views to die for, especially at night. I can see the whole cityscape. The rooms are so gorgeous, and the security system's world-class.
What the hell? How the heck is a brokey like you living in the new apartment block on 5th Street? I heard there were A-listers living there.
A brokey? How much do you think I make? I mean, sure, it's not like I'm the one who pays the rent.
You don't pay rent? How is that possible?
A special someone's letting me live here with them. It's my boyfriend's apartment.
You have a boyfriend? But it's barely been 6 months since the divorce.
So, divorced means divorced. I'll do as I please.
No way! What kind of fruitcake would want you as their girlfriend? Man, some people have the strangest taste.
I was surprised too, but I have tons of guys making advances at me as soon as we divorced.
As soon as we divorced? Wait, you mean they had your sights on you the whole time?
This might be a tough one for you to swallow, but there are some guys who are actually into girls who are committed to their careers. My current boyfriend is one of those guys who invited me on a date after the divorce. Unlike you, he actually respects me. We split the housework 50-50. Plus, he's handsome and ripped. He's amazing. I feel like I hit the jackpot.
What the hell is this? So, you pick guys based on their willingness to do housework now. The only reason any guy would do housework is because they don't have any confidence in their ability to do their job. So you badge yourself a wet noodle of a man and actually think that's something worthy of bragging about? Even if he does live in a luxury apartment, an apartment is still an apartment. If he was really all that special, he'd live in a house or a mansion.
Oh no, he earns way more than you. He outclasses you so hard in every possible way you might as well be called different species. You're definitely not in any position to be criticizing him, brokey.
Yeah, he does? How did you meet a guy like that? And so quickly?
We've known each other for a while, actually. He's one of my major clients at work. He said he'd had a thing for me a while, but he never made any moves because he knew I was married. He was so pleased when he found out I was single. By the way, he works for a company so big, there's pretty much no one on the planet who hasn't heard of them.
So you got over the crushing heartbreak of losing me by finding someone richer? You shameless parasite! I always knew you were a worthless good-for-nothing.
The only parasite here is you. I'm not interested in him for his money.
You just said he was paying your rent. That could only mean he's covering all your living expenses. You goddamn gravy train riding, freeloading, gold-digging leech!
What makes you think that? The only reason I don't pay rent is because there is no rent. The apartment belongs to him.
He owns an apartment in the luxury high-rise on 5th Street? Just how rich is he?
We split the utilities. I either buy my own food or we go halves from month to month. I have plenty of money on my own. And when there's something to be paid, I pay it. I have no need to parasite like you seem to think I do.
But you barely make anything. How could someone like you be with someone so rich? He's out of your league. You'll never last.
The thing is, Jason, you don't actually know how much money I make, do you? Go on, have a guess. What's my monthly take-home?
$1,000 at best.
Oh no. Is that your final answer?
Is it wrong? Didn't you say that before?
That was before we got married. Plus, it was before I got my new job. Of course, How could you possibly know how much I make these days? I never told you. You left all the taxes and bills to me, so it's not like you could have found out that way either. How silly of me. Of course you didn't know.
Well, tell me then, how much do you make?
$4,000 a month.
After taxes?
After taxes.
You're lying. No way. There's no way you make more money than me.
It's the truth. That's why I always wondered what the hell you were talking about when you got carried away bragging about your salary. To think you actually thought I'd struggle without you, it's hilarious. I'm not struggling for money, and I'm not struggling for men.
Well, why didn't you tell me that you'd made that much before you divorced?
If anything, aren't you the one struggling without me? There's not much hope of you doing the housework or laundry. I doubt you'd know where to start. I bet the house is overflowing with garbage.
No, it's not. My mom comes over to do the cleaning.
Of course. How could I forget your mother complex? Of course. Your mommy's gonna come over and wipe your bottom if you're a man-child and capable of taking care of himself. How foolish of me not to realize.
I do not have a mother complex.
I don't know, Jason. It doesn't look good. What kind of 35-year-old can't get by without his mommy coming over to clean up after him? Pathetic.
You shut your mouth! Actually, I'm having a blast without you around. Things have never been better. Divorcing you was like having the most enormous weight lifted off my shoulders. Best decision I ever made.
Ah, I see. Well, I'm pleased for you. I hope you carry on having a blast. I couldn't be happier either.
I'm begging you, please come home.
Uh-huh? Excuse me? Where did that come from?
I want us to give things another shot. Please come home.
Are you insane? Didn't you say divorcing me felt like having the weight lifted from your shoulders? I thought you were having a blast.
I was just trying to put on a brave face. I was jealous because you had this happy new life and I was all alone. Miserable and depressed, so I lied. I'm lost without you.
Lost? If it's the housework you're talking about, surely you can get your mom to do it.
I don't mean the housework, I mean financially.
Huh? Money? But I don't remember your salary being that low. Even if you do make less than a third of the money I do, surely you can still live comfortably as long as you spend within your means.
The payment reminder letters started showing up not long after the divorce.
For the credit card?
There is that, but then there's the loans I took out. And then there's the repayments on my college debt, tax arrears, and a bunch of other stuff.
You mean you haven't been paying all that stuff? Freaking tax arrears? Jesus, Jason.
I had no idea how much I was spending every month. I was kind of just coasting by without paying the finances much mind. And before I knew it, my bank account was empty.
I see. I guess it was me who used to be taking care of paying off all that stuff. So you carried on living exactly as you were while we were married on 2 salaries? Obviously, things were gonna get rough for you. Didn't you make any effort to adjust your spending to your new situation?
I had no idea how much I was spending every month. When I finally realized I had loan repayments to keep on top of, I had no money left.
When you say loans, do you mean the ones you took out for the stuff like the car, the motorbike, and your guitar? I told you you were the one being irresponsible back then, but you didn't listen.
The repayment dates were closing in and I didn't want the interest to add up. So I took out another loan to pay off my loans. Now I'm up to my ears in debt and don't have a clue what to do.
Right. You're stuck in quicksand. The more you struggle, the deeper you sink. It's a vicious cycle.
Exactly!
Sorry, but I'm not helping you. You're the one who divorced me. I was willing to try and make things work, but you're on your own now. Take responsibility for your own mistakes.
But I'm finished at this rate. Please, I have no one else to turn to. I'm begging you. Please help.
Why don't you see if Mommy will give you some pocket money? She's always the first one you run crying to when you're struggling. So why me now?
I did ask my mom, but she said no. Things are tight enough for her as it is on her retirement fund. She can't afford to spare anything.
Figure it out yourself then. I'm living happily with my new boyfriend. I have absolutely no intention of taking you back. Me and Chad are getting married next year.
We've barely been divorced for 5 minutes and remarriage is already on the cards. Oh my God, Maria. How could you do this to me?
What the hell? You divorced me, Jason. What are you even saying? Besides, it'll have been over a year by then. We started dating on the premise of marriage from the get-go. You have no right to complain about anything.
Weren't we happy together, babe? Didn't we have something special? You're my sugar dumpling and I your honey pie.
Sure. To begin with, things soon went south when you thought you had me trapped. Looking back on it, all you did was hold me back. My relationship with Chad couldn't be any more different. We're equal partners and he doesn't try and make me treat him like my lord and master.
You're right, babe. I was arrogant. I swear I'll never do anything like that again. You said yourself things were good at the start. We can go back to that, can't we? I swear I'll make you happy this time.
You couldn't possibly make me happy. Even if we did live together, you'd only leech me off like the parasite you are. I'd have to be crazy to take you back. Because I think a husband and a wife should be equals. Goodbye. I heard through the grapevine that my struggling ex-husband worked day and night, holding down 3 jobs to keep on top of his exorbitant debt repayments. The divorce with me was the first time in his life he'd ever lived on his own. Predictably, he had absolutely no conception of how much things cost, or how to plan a sensible budget, and as a result, well, you read the messages. I did at least expect him to put a little thought into planning out his new life. I guess I overestimated him. Not only did Jason have no idea how much things, taxes, or utilities cost, he also had no idea how to pay them. It's hard to believe people like him exist. It's even harder to believe I was married to one. I told my new boyfriend all about my ex-husband and his weird and whimsical shenanigans. He looked at me with a perplexed frown and said, "You married a guy like that? Didn't you feel like you were a little mismatched?" Needless to say, he was confused to say at least. Looking back, I can't help but ask myself the same thing. Why did I marry Jason?
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.